Now, there's also the concept of materiality. And if you think about it, really anything the business buys, you could consider an asset, right? I mean, trucks and buildings and stuff are obvious assets you plan on using over a period of time. But what about something like a printer? A printer is probably going to last you a few years. However, does it really make sense to consider that printer an asset that you're going to decrease the value of over its useful life? It's a pretty small amount of money. You probably aren't going to want to hire an accountant to actually collect that information and do that work for you. Plus, who knows if there's really any secondary market for it? Is there really any way that I'm going to sell a half-used printer and get back what's on the book value for it? So if you consider all of that, it probably doesn't make sense to consider a printer an asset. It probably makes more sense just to call it an expense, a various business expense that we pay for in the current period, and it's just one of our regular costs of doing business. Usually businesses will have a dollar amount associated with what they're considering an expense. Like anything you buy for less than $500, for example, you're probably better off just calling an expense. If it's more than that, if it's $1,000 warming bag for your pizza company or something like that, maybe that's an asset that you want to depreciate over a course of time. But there is a little room for flexibility here. If something is not considered to likely impact what an outside person would think the value of the business is, then you can consider an expense rather than depreciating an asset.